We're going to take a quick break from your regularly scheduled RX8 engine swap programming and talk about the NC Miata steering rack for a second. There's plenty of documentation about the NA and NB Miatas and their steering racks and how to depower them, but no matter where we looked, we couldn't find how to depower an NC Miata rack, so we went ahead and pulled one apart, and here is what you need to know. A 36mm socket's going to get you pretty far with the NC Miata rack. It'll take off this tension nut, which gives you a spring and a washer, out of here, and on the end, if you steer so that the rack is all the way away from this nut, you can get it off with that as well. It's on there pretty good. Here, you're going to want to gently pry off the yellow cap, and then there's a really goofy nut holding in the rest of the guts there, and we need to get that off. We created a tool to do that, and this was a piece of pipe that we kind of gave a 36mm profile and then welded a socket to. It goes in there, you can bust that off, that'll just pull out. Now that you've got the pinion removed, when you try and push the rack out, you're going to get a lot of resistance. So this seal is about here inside the rack tube, and you will want to drill a small pressure relief hole there and push all remaining power steering fluid out very carefully. And then if you stick a socket extension into the end of the opposite side of the rack and hit it with a nice big hammer, you'll be able to just slam the whole assembly out. This seal will be on the rack itself with a white Teflon ring inside there. You're going to want to go ahead and cut that off, very similar to the NA and NB Miatas. And once you get that busted off there, you are ready to reassemble. While we intend to use this method to depower this rack, we haven't put it back together and tested it to make sure that it for sure works, but we are fairly certain that this is similar enough to the design of the NA and NB Miata racks that it'll go together, and with some lubrication, will be just fine as a manual steering rack. And for those of you who have stuck around going, what the heck kind of tool is that he made? Here's a closer look at it, and what you need to have for sure is a 36mm outside diameter. So you could probably, if you had a lathe, use 36mm hex stock and then use a boring bar to bring it out to clearance this round part of the nut, and it'll fit. Or you could be like me and just use some tube, clamp it, and just eyeball it with an angle grinder and get lucky. So feel free to do that. Ask a question if you got it. See you later.